Hi there and welcome. My name is Dani Henderson and I'm spiritualtherapist.com. Today, it is my great honor to host this roundtable with three, in my opinion, and many of yours, extremely important, beloved human beings with a body of knowledge that exceeds over 60 years, all totted up together. We're going to start with the female to my left, to my right in Zoom. Her name is Elena Danaan. Many of you already know her, some of you may not. Elena Danaan, welcome, my love. Please introduce yourself and tell us who you be.
Thank you, Dani. I'm very delighted to be here. Well, my name is Elena Danaan. I am an archaeologist and I am known for having written books about my abductions by aliens. I was abducted when I was 9 years old. I was rescued by a group of benevolent, tall, blonde aliens, part of an organization that is called the Galactic Federation of Worlds. These people are mainly Pleiadians, but also other star systems, all humans, and the team who rescued me. And I kept contact with them all my life. And I started recently, these last 3 years, to write about my contact with them. And the world was ready to listen to these stories and not judge as it would have happened a decade ago. So I'm known for these books I have written, A Gift from the Stars, We Will Never Let You Down, and keep on going. So I am reporter from the stars and emissary for these people. I report what the message they tell me and what's happening regarding the current event linked with humanity in space. And as an archaeologist myself, I've spent my whole life digging the past and reporting the past, and now I'm reporting the future and digging the future with the information I received. So it's very exciting.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much. Just before we come to Dr. Michael Salla, could you share with us again your book, A Gift from the Stars, and tell us what's in it as a reference or a library or a dictionary for people to recognize other star nations that they themselves may have had connection with?
A Gift from the Stars is really a gift I received. There are 3 parts in this book. The first part is the story of my abduction by gray aliens at the age of 9 and my rescue by people from the Galactic Federation of Worlds. That's the first part, and it's illustrated by my drawings because I have some skills in arts. The second part is a repertoire, a real dictionary of alien races who are interacting with Earth. They do not all visit Earth, but they are interacting with Earth. There are 110 involved species, part of different organizations, also the Andromedan Council, the Council of Five, also different other smaller structures. And so there's this repertoire, and everyone can really relate to this book. It has been so far helping so many people. There's a lot of QHHT practitioners who have this as a Bible to help their clients to identify either who has abducted them or either who are the good ETs they are in contact with regarding their soul group, if they are starseeds, you know. So it's very, very useful. And the third part is about messages, but positive messages, empowering messages, you know. So this book has helped a lot and quite beaten the records. And the second book, We Will Never Let You Down, it is about my encounters with Commander Val Thora, who is known also as Valiant Thor. That was a surprise in my life. And that's a part of the book, the main part, but also I talk about my interactions with the Galactic Federation of Worlds and what they are doing. And that's really a day by day for a year, like a journal about what was happening in the star system at that time. And it was really the liberation of the moon, the Mars, etc. So that's my second book. And I'm writing a third about my encounters with the CEDARs and the Intergalactic Confederation, soon to come.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. We will come into more detail later on during this roundtable. But now, ladies and jelly beans, it is my great honor to introduce the great, the one and only Dr. Michael Salla. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Danny. Well, if I were to try to summarize what it is that I do, I would say that I am a political scientist by training who stumbled into an incredible field that is surrounded by smoke and mirrors, real life contacts, people who have been involved in secret government programs, people who are communicating and channeling with extraterrestrials, and those that are totally delusional, and those that are government agents. And my goal is to make sense of it all, to kind of like separate the wheat from the chaff, identify those that are credible, those that are kind of like just there for some other agenda, and really create a foundation for scholars to understand what is going on. Because I speak the scholarly language, which is you kind of like reference all your sources so that anyone that wants to look at the material that you've been discussing can look at it and analyze it, and they can come up to their own independent conclusions, analyses, but the source material is always going to be the same. And it's like in the intelligence community. I mean, if you have an intelligence analyst and they're looking at all this information, well, you know, does, for example, in 2003, you know, the big intelligence game was, well, you know, does Iraq have weapons of mass destruction? So, you know, you would have looked at a whole array of sources. You would have looked at electronic sources, signals intelligence sources. You would have looked at human intelligence sources. You would have looked at electronic data communications, and you would have looked at these and you would have tried to rank them. You know, what's credible, what's not so credible, what is something we can act on, what is something that really is something we just keep in mind. So in this field of exopolitics, I try to do something like that, to kind of like rank people, rank sources of information, so that we have an idea of, you know, what is the more credible, and using that credible information to kind of fill out the big picture of what is going on in this incredible world of exopolitics. And I'm very fortunate that two people that I rank very, very highly are part of this roundtable. That's Alex and Elena, who I've known Alex for, well, kind of over 15 years now, I think. We've
more like 20. It's more like 20.
Yeah, it's been a while. And they definitely are at the leading edge, tip of the spear, if you like, of this kind of information in terms of accuracy and in terms of significance for our planet. And right now, I think they too are giving us some of the best intel of what is happening right now in our solar system. And so I'm very grateful to be part of this roundtable and to be working with Alex and Elena on a long-term basis.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much. Before we move to Alex Collier, could you share with the audience the body of work, your written works that you have written and studied, research and presented to our planet, please?
I've got 4 books on exopolitics, and these are books that just describe what exopolitics is, the most credible sources of information. I actually ranked in my very first book, Exopolitics, Political Implications of Extraterrestrial Life, that came out in 2004. I literally rank the different sources of information that are available for understanding this field of exopolitics. So I have 4 books just dealing with exopolitics as a discipline. The last of the 4 books, identity assassination, and why that is such an important historical event in terms of understanding what it is about this UFO extraterrestrial phenomenon that makes it so important that a sitting American president would be assassinated in broad daylight to send a message to any world leader that was prepared to go against the dictates of the controllers when it came to this information. And after those 4 books on exopolitics, now I have 7 books that deal on secret space programs. So I analyze what are the different space programs out there, who's in control of them, how they began. And in my most recent book, Galactic Federations, Councils and Secret Space Programs, I look at the role of extraterrestrial civilizations and how they've interacted with each of these secret space programs over the more than 70 years that these programs have been in existence.
Thank you so much, Dr. Michael Salla. And now we come to Alex Collier. Welcome, Alex Collier, my beloved friend.
Hi, thank you. Listen, I just want to add something that Michael's books and Elena's 15, 20 years from now will become historical documents. But that's how important they are. So you need to get on Amazon right away and order all of them and have them shipped to your house so that you can read through them and have them, and you will be currently up to date. So as things begin to unfold in real time, which is what they're doing, you will be caught up to speed as to why things are happening and the direction that this more than likely will be going. Because you know, these two human beings here are absolutely remarkable, and I am so impressed with who they are, including the person who is heading this conference, who was brave enough to put it all on the line, Miss Henderson, spiritual therapist. She could write a book, and she should write a book. But listen, you know, these 3 are just, they're way above everybody else's pay grade, just for the record. Now, as far as me, became a contactee in 1964 at a picnic in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Didn't really start talking until 1991. That didn't really go well. It was just one person in the town hall. So I thought, well, maybe let's not do this. But again, back in 93, I was asked to continue to speak. My 2 contacts are from the constellation of Andromeda. They are 5th dimensional beings. Visayas and Morine. Visayas was the Yoda of the 2. He has since crossed over back in September of 98. And so all that's left is Morine, who is in fact now a Jedi in his own right. And you know, we've shared a lot of information regarding the power structure and those that were living underground. And some people credit me as a trailblazer. Well, I was just one. There were many of us back then in the 80s and 90s, 70s, many who have been forgotten, who shouldn't be forgotten. But, you know, the trails that we blazed have opened up a lot of pathways for this information to what it is today and how prevalent it is today. And it isn't going to go away. This is probably the most important field of research at this present time that humanity has. Because what it does is it ties all the other pieces together that make no sense. The altering of history, the OOP parts, the things that don't matter, that shouldn't be here, the different colored races, the different body types, you know, just the different ruins, the pyramids all over the planet, even those under the water, the oceans. It ties all of this together because humanity, as we know ourselves, has been living here for millions and millions of years. Darling, it looks great.
I'm off camera. Nobody can see that.
Oh, okay. Oops. There is a book out that's called Defending Sacred Ground. It is a compilation of early lectures that I did. I did not actually write it. It was put together as a compendium by someone who was former Air Force intelligence, and he was selling it without us knowing anything about it. But it is available for free on alexcollier.org. You can just go in and download it. Some of the information's dated, but the information from the A's themselves directly is never outdated. And it's been an extraordinary journey. And you know, I am thrilled to at this point in my life to be in a supporting role of Mr. Salla and Elena Danaan and Miss Henderson and Tony Rodriguez and others that are going to be at the conference. This will be my very last public appearance in a public forum. I'm done. I never expected it to go this long anyway. Just had no clue. So we do a little webinar 3 times a month, and I will continue to do that for a bit. But as far as talking in front of an audience, I was never comfortable doing it. And this will be the very last one. So we'd love to see you there.
Yes,
I don't know what to say. I never do.
And yet you always manage to bring it. In reference to your beautiful book, Defending Sacred Ground, again, the 3 of you have a long-term body of work that you've delivered to help our brothers and our sisters here on planet understand exopolitics, galactic information, and hidden information from the beginning of time immemorial, since we are told it has existed. I wanted to just make reference, Alex, to the hundreds of videos, broadcasts that you've done from 91 or 94, please.
No, there's some from 91 that no one has seen. They're in a box in my garage. and some of them are actually on their way to London right now to James. But yeah, I mean, it started in a long time ago, and I think pretty much everything has been put up. We've rescued a lot from YouTube when they started taking it all down. But you know, there's some really interesting things there and perspectives and information that was relevant at the time. Some of it is actually, you know, the one thing about extraterrestrials is they don't know how to tell time, not in our linear time. They don't get it. And that's because they live outside of time as we would know it. So a lot of things that the A's talked about that were supposed to happen in the 2000s are actually occurring now. So there's relevant information then to what is occurring now. And, you know, I think everyone at the conference is pretty much up to speed with where everything is and where we're going and how things are unfolding now. It's absolutely an extraordinary time. And, you know, I can speak for myself. There've been many times I wanted to leave and go home. But I actually, you know, I'm actually very excited about the fact that I've stayed. And I'm going to be here to see the changes and to see Earth jump into 4th and hopefully into 5th. It's just, humanity deserves this. They absolutely deserve this. They have had a really, really tough time. And it's been really tough sledding. Everything has been put in their path to block them. And yet, you know, we keep marching on hoping for good things, trying to build a better life, a better world, bearing our children along the way. And, and humanity needs to be acknowledged for the perseverance that it has survived. It's, it's going to be an oh shit moment for sure.
Yes, indeed. And more besides, more besides. Well, thank you so much, Alex, for that brief tutorial on your legacy and your body of work. And for those of you out there who feel more aligned to the Andromedan nature, Alex Collier is surely the foremost person with the humblest heart and the kindest work. And do you see how he introduced everybody else here before himself? And yet most of us in the world of exopolitics always pull reference on Alex Collier. And that's something, sir, that I'm always so moved by. And I shall move on, but that needed to be said. So the word Jedi was mentioned. Now that will put a lot of people who are still skeptical, and bless your hearts if you are, that's where it is. We've seen things like Star Trek via Gene Roddenberry, Star Wars, as a means to infiltrate and bring information to humanity to occupy the thought of a potential galactic humanity, connection. And all of you have had your experiences and your writings. Could 1, 2, or 3 of you briefly explain what you understand the word Jedi to mean?
Spiritual warrior, just a spiritual warrior. And everyone is. Everyone who has settled into themselves who they are, who has settled into that place of knowing their soul and have empowered themselves with spirit, with spiritual knowledge, is a warrior, is a spiritual warrior. Because, Earth is a war zone. It has been for quite some time. And in order to persevere, in order to continue to move forward, in order to make a difference, to shine light in this planet, on this planet, you have to carry with you a certain chutzpah, a certain light, and a knowingness. And to me, that's all that a Jedi would signify. It's, it's not slash them up, cut them up. Anybody can do that. But it's those that will not do it and will walk away because they realize that is not the appropriate thing to do. It's gotten too easy to hurt people on this planet. Mm-hmm. There are too many people who are very comfortable hurting other people. Mm-hmm. Jedis don't do that. They would rather do something to empower during the encounter than to remove a soul from the surface. That's how I see it. Mm-hmm. Ms. Danaan and I am sure the incredible, legendary Dr. Salla will have something else to say.
Well, to me, a Jedi is someone who fights for the truth. Not thinking about themselves, but being a tool for the truth and justice and balance, whatever it takes. And they fight from the place of the heart, from the place of the light of the heart of truth. And exactly, I agree, they empower, they give instead of taking, So that's what a Jedi is.
Well, I think that the Jedi concept is a very important one because we are at a crossroads as a civilization. I mean, we know that the ETs are going to be revealed very, very soon. And together with that is going to be the introduction of these incredible technologies. And I think humanity is going to kind of like split into 4 different categories. There's going to be those that are going to be like, look at all of what's coming and say, I don't want to be a part of that. I just want to live my own life on a, living my life, whatever it is, and just try and keep away from the incredible technological changes, the revolution in information that is coming. Then there are those that are going to look at it all and say, well, I want to be out there and I need to be technologically enhanced. So they're going to take all of the transhumanist technologies that are presented, and they're going to take them all into their body, and they're going to enhance to become super soldiers, to become astronauts, to go out there, to be colonizers, whatever it is. And for them, that'll be their way of getting ahead, kind of like the shortcut to immortality, if you like, transhumanism. And that, I think, also kind of like includes things like, like some of the med beds are I think, nanotechnology, and so that they can go down technological to say the transhumanist agenda. Then the third category, I think, are going to be like those that are going to embrace the genetic changes, that are going to go down this path of genetic enhancements, and they're going to look to some of the ETs and say, okay, you guys have been doing this a long time, help us out. How do we genetically enhance ourselves? Some people will choose to go down that path of genetic enhancement and cloning, to actually clone themselves and transferring consciousness from one body into another. So there'll be those that go down that pathway. And I think the fourth pathway are the Jedis. These are the ones that are going to be not accepting. They're not going to just ignore everything happening. So they're not going to be part of that category. They're going to be very they're not going to accept any kind of technological enhancements to their body. Not going to accept the nanotechnology, all of those things that kind of like technologically enhance them. They're not going to accept the genetic enhancements as well, to introduce all kinds of genetics into them. And I think they're going to go down this path of like using consciousness alone to achieve very much the same thing that those other categories can achieve, but through the power of consciousness alone. So they're truly going to be Jedi Knights, where it's all through being in alignment with your spirit, with your soul, with your destiny, and embracing nature, embracing the sun, the solar sun, the soul of the planet, all of these things that are ultimately great sources of power, but you need to really dedicate yourself to that, to feel the spirit of a planet, to feel the spirit of the star, to feel the spirit of nature, the rest of humanity. I think that's the path of the Jedi. And I think it's not going to be, not that many are going to go for, well, I think it'll be a small percentage that go for that path, because it's a hard path. It's much easier to just get some genetic upgrade or to get some kind of a transhumanist upgrade and you kind of live forever, or you just move from one body into another clone body or something. So I think the Jedi path is going to be the more challenging one, but ultimately the more rewarding one.
And that's why you're a legend.
Indeed. So it just came to me again that in my whole entire life, this is only the second time that I've had the honor of seeing Elena Danaan, Alex Collier, and Dr. Michael Salla together in one place on one screen. And it's such an honor. And for you out there who would love to hear more, see more, Alex Collier has already referred to a particular conference that's happening this very year. On October the 21st, the 22nd, and the 23rd of this year, 2022, these three and others, highly respected in exopolitics, spiritual communities, the indigenous, our Earth brothers and sisters, and galactic brothers and sisters, we are all coming together, and you are invited to join us. In this gathering, we are going to hear things that we cannot talk about on screen because of the tragic censorship, but nothing will stop what's coming. Now, the website is very simple. You just go to galacticspiritualinformers.com. galacticspiritualinformers.com. That will tell you everything, and the details will be right underneath this broadcast, where they always are, right underneath anything on YouTube. There's always a body of information. That's where it will be, my darlings. Elena Danaan, may I come to you? Could you please share with the audiences here the information to a point of what you will be bringing for the people that come to our conference in October this year?
Well, I am going to take everyone by the hand into the future. Because I have physical contact with extraterrestrials, I am taken on board ships and sometimes traveling a little bit around on board ships. I am going to tell you in more details about the technology I am confronted with, how I've been interacting with it, how what they have explained to me, how it works, and all the technical details as much as I can explain them. Also with the help of science, I will try to bring you the details of the technologies I am exposed to, very advanced technologies. And doing so, it is giving you an understanding, a better understanding of what's coming for humans Earth, because most of these technologies that the Galactic Federation of Worlds is using are already in use in some secret space programs. These technologies have been shared, not all, but most of it, with notably the US Navy at the start, since the 1950s, in these exchange programs with the Galactic Federation of Worlds, in secret. So these technologies, it's coming, it is soon going to be released to the public slowly. You know, the disclosure has started, and it follows its schedule. These technologies who are coming, I am going to explain to you how I have experienced them and how I experience them. Then you feel more comfortable and you understand better what's coming and how to deal with it, to react with it, because it is quite impressive. There's also something I haven't spoken about yet. It is an even more advanced technology. And it is the technology used by a new group of extraterrestrials I have been in contact with since October 2021, the Intergalactic Confederation, the group of 24 CEDAR cultures. My mind was blown away. I was even shocked to see this kind of technology, because they have 20,000 years in advance technologically upon us on Earth. And they are so advanced for some of them that technology is not technology anymore. It merges with consciousness. And this I want to bring into you and to explain to you. There is, a lot of fear-mongering from the deep state to make you believe that all the technology is bad, that you need to refuse all the technology. Technology is just a tool. It's not bad, it's not good, it's a neutral tool. It depends who uses it. So I'm going to go through all of these aspects with you, and that's going to be quite magical.
So exciting, so incredibly exciting. And I know there's many of us, especially myself included, who cannot wait to hear you reveal more of the truth of the history of this planet that we reside in and the connections that we've always had to our brothers and sisters in other star systems, galaxies, and this universe and beyond. Dr. Michael Salla, may we come to you? Will you please share with the audiences here who and what you will be referring to, speaking to, and sharing at the conference that you are unable to in day-to-day censorship?
Well, I'm going to be looking at some of the material about the return of the CEDARs, of the Intergalactic Confederation, and presenting the different encounters people have had. Elena, JP, some of the others, Jean-Charles Moyen, who will also be there, and others that have information about the Intergalactic Confederation arriving And I'm going to be kind of looking at, well, what is it that has been released publicly in terms of, say, images from the James Webb Space Telescope that show that there is this enormous congregation of spacecraft that have arrived in our solar system and parked themselves around Jupiter, and how this is associated with biblical or kind of religious traditions talking about the return of the gods. Because to me, this is really the most fascinating and transformative aspect, that what we are witnessing now, it's not just a question of like an armada of ships that are arrived in our solar system to kind of watch our planet go through some kind of fundamental transformation. It's also a fulfillment of prophecy. It's also something that can be found in all the religious traditions where they talk about the return of the gods, the return of the Elohim, however they phrase it. So there's a kind of like a real important kind of religious or spiritual aspect to all of this, that somehow what we're witnessing now around Jupiter and around the Earth with the return of the Intergalactic Confederation is really going to be transformative just across the whole spectrum of things. And so I would like to really present to people that come to the conference, like all of the data that this is real, it's happening right now, and that this is something that is in alignment with a lot of the kind of biblical and religious traditions that have talked about this time as very positive. It's something to be embraced, because that'll be very important. That, you know, there are those that are going to try and spin this for something negative and dark, and we need to prepare ourselves and go, you know, like full military in terms of responding to this incursion in our solar system. And of course, there are those that are going to be wanting to embrace this as like the return of these prophesied gods, or the Elohim, the star brothers and sisters. I mean, I think all of this is showing just how important this time is. And so to me, educating people to be well informed about what is happening right now in terms of the arrival of this new group of extraterrestrial visitors that, you know, a lot of us have been talking, and Alex for over 30 years now has been talking about all of the other groups, the good, the bad, and the ugly that are here. But these recent arrivals, I mean, they're something new. They're something that are very important in terms of what it is that we are going to be moving into as a species. So those are the things I'm going to be focusing on during my presentation.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Dr. Michael Salla. Alex Collier.
Well, I'm going to do a review of information. I'm also going to share information I've never talked about regarding the holographic camera that the A's use to heal. I'm also going to share how to jumpstart a scout ship with jumper cables, how to change a tire on a starship. I'm going to talk about the journey, and I'm going to talk about what I really want to do is to share with humanity how incredibly promising the future is. And, you know, there are a lot of people who are afraid of change, but the fact of the matter is every single day is different and it changes. And even in the slightest ways, all of our lives change every single day. They're never the same. And this represents a significant change, especially for the heart and soul of humanity itself. We are going to be given the truth of who we are. We're going to understand that we've never been alone, that there is source, and that at the same time, we are absolutely part of that source, and that we need to embrace the idea of becoming totally self-confident and free to unconditionally be responsible for oneself without being coerced by some higher authority. In other words, whatever you're looking for, you already are. It's not on the outside. It's never been on the outside. It's always been on the inside. How they've controlled and manipulated us is by playing with our emotions and drawing us to the outside, to placing the world outside of us more important than the world that's inside, because the world inside is where you literally create what you want on the outside world. And they've been very, very successful in keeping us distracted. And there have been previous civilizations on Earth who knew all these spiritual laws, who practiced these laws. These are our forefathers and foremothers, our ancestors. You know, this isn't a first contact at all. It's probably our seventh or eighth. There's just been a large gap of, I don't know, 2,000, maybe 3,000 years. That and all of that history has been hidden or erased from us. And I know Elena talks about this. I know Dr. Salla talks about this, and I am sure that I understand you're going to have a Native American representative there, Chase.
Yes.
I'm sure he's going to bring this up. They have a very long oral tradition of the Sky people. And, you know, humanity's relationship with most of the Sky people has always been positive. Always. There's just a few that have been assholes. And unfortunately, they've stuck around. So I'm just, you know, I'm just going to share all that, and I'm going to share the growth that I had to go through, because, you know, as I say goodbye, there are going to be others behind us that are going to feel confident and inspired to want to share their stories as well. And you know, when you go through this, when you go through this journey, you learn things. You do, you learn things. And you see things ahead of time, and wanting to share those pitfalls before others step into it is something that I think is very important. Now, that doesn't mean that people won't do it anyway, but at least they know, if you do, this is how you need to get out of it. This is, you know, stick to your story. Don't go outside of your lane and scatter your message. Stick with what you know. Stick with what you've been taught. There are many, many contactees on this planet. And I think this may be the safest point, the safest environment that I've ever seen in my 30 plus years to share this type of information. You know, but at the same time, as we're all experiencing, you know, there's still that dark hand wanting to suppress this and push this information away, because this dark hand has been working for the dark side for a very, very long time. And you know, they're gasping for air. But we have to remember that this is about humanity. This is not about individuals. This is about all of us as individual soul groups coming together as a planetary race and moving forward and becoming a galactic race. Because we have a lot to share. We don't even realize how much we have that we can share with other races. It's just remarkable, and I know, whether I'm here or not, that I'm going to be so proud of everybody here. Just so proud, because this has been tens of thousands of years in the coming. This what's coming for humanity. It's taken this long for it to get to this place. That's all I got.
That's incredible, Alex. Thank you so much. That's real food for thought. And for those who are coming into this awareness, for those that are already aware that disclosure has been happening for a long time. And like you said, Alex, this could be the 7th or 8th perceived first contact. There are many of us on this planet who have genuinely had first contact with extraterrestrial brothers and sisters. You mentioned briefly the beautiful Chase Iron Eyes. Chase Iron Eyes will be a speaker at our conference. And with him, what he brings from the Lakota and the Sioux people, he brings other tribes with him who will be sharing some of their most ancient sacred mantras and dances. Now, some of this will be pre-recorded, of course. We can't bring everybody onto the stage, unfortunately, at the Doubletree Hilton Hotel opposite Universal Studios in Orlando. But it's so wonderful to bring the resonance of the humanity, the spiritual aspect, the indigenous, and the true life, real contactee galactic experience. And there are people that, of course, are coming into their own memories, they're sharing their memories, and there are some who are completely mentally insane. But that's always been the journey of humanity. And so we have to trust and feel with our hearts, minds, and souls, and feel the resonance of the people that put themselves in front of us and decide for ourselves and discern for ourselves, where do I have ownership of my mind, my body, my soul, and what will I choose to believe or not? You know, it's really quite beautiful. You also mentioned the name Tony Rodriguez. Tony Rodriguez will be there alongside these beautiful guys speaking. Tony Rodriguez was abducted as a 10-year-old boy for upsetting a kid in his class who was connected to Illuminati. Yes, it really does exist. And this young man, a little boy of 10, was taken and put into what is known as secret space programs, which are off-planet dark programs that Dr. Michael Salla has spent years writing books, interviewing, researching, and bringing into our awareness, amongst others. There are also people like Jean-Charles Moyen. Jean-Charles Moyen is another French. I must say the French have really had a lot to do with this current disclosure. A lot of French people coming forward in their ownership of true experience. And Jean-Charles Moyen will be bringing his experiences in military capacity, also taken by the secret military. And one of the other great things about Jean-Charles, not only is he a director, a filmmaker of his real true experiences, he also has memory of being another being on another planet called Ultima, which he will also be bringing into the collective mind of the people that will be there. We also have people like Laura Eisenhower, who is the great-granddaughter of former President Dwight Eisenhower. She, in part, will be exonerating his memory, as people like Elena Danaan and Dr. Michael Salla and Alex Collier have come together. And with this body of work and proof, we are literally rewriting history, or bringing the truth that was hidden from us by the dark hand, as you referenced, Alex. We have Sambo True Brother, who Dr. Michael Salla just interviewed. He has a body of experience with the Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Yeti, Skunk Ape, Abominable Snowman. Call this beautiful, benevolent being what you will. A lot of us have always wondered, what is the truth and the reality of this being? Well, you will come to the conference and you'll find out. Is there anybody else, my darling friends, who you feel at this point we should refer to? Because there are 15 speakers of great value and worth. Anybody you can think of right now that we should mention?
Everyone.
Yeah.
Just everyone.
Everyone.
Just everyone.
I know it's in that moment where I haven't got my other screen up and I love every one of them and I have a heart connection. Lowell Johnson is a man who had an experience inside of Inner Earth and Mount Shasta and met with people that are from a city called Telos. And I really wanted to bring people with experiences on planet, off planet, and in Inner Earth. And so Lowell Johnson will be the person representing Inner Earth. As well as other indigenous personnel, we have a beautiful man. His name is Quetzal Shah. I was in Chichen Itza with him a few months ago in Mexico and was honored to be witness to ceremony with him. He doesn't speak English, and there will be a woman with him, Asha Dillman, who will be translating. And she also herself is going to bring a body of hidden knowledge called the Maya Yoka, not yoga, the Maya Yoka. This conference is a beautiful embroidery of all secrets and all long-term true history of our planet beneath, above, and on the surface. And I'm just so beyond excited to, be hosting it. It's such a great honor, and to have connection with all of the beautiful people that we've mentioned. And we also have Sherry Divband will be coming. She is somebody who has been bringing in the element of 5D education and creating special learning centers, because the school system that we were abused by, I'll speak for myself, are being done away with. And the knowledge that you people have been sharing here in this brief discussion will what is going to be the history of our planet, the books you have written, the information that you've collated and researched is going to become part of the fabric of what we teach our children, not what a little group of non-leaders decided, bye-bye there, we're all coming, standing shoulder to shoulder and taking back our beautiful, beautiful planet. Dr. Michael Salla, what would you like to add here?
Well, this is going to be an opportunity to share, to network. I mean, one of the things I always like about attending conferences is the networking. It's just kind of like setting up my little desk there with some of my books, and people come up and I autograph books for them and meet them. And it's been 3 years since I've been at a conference, so I have missed that. And so I'm looking forward to just meeting people. I've met some of my best sources that way. They just kind of come up and talk to me, and we establish a connection. And so that's always good, meeting new sources. And so I'm looking forward to that. And I think this kind of human connection, because those that come to this conference, I think we are all kind of resonating in a certain way. I think those of us that are there, we're kind of like part of the same team. We are star seeds, and I think we're all kind of like moving towards this kind of future of like becoming Jedi Knights. I like that term. I mean, that's, I think, where we're going. And, the Jedi Knights, they want to hang around with other Jedi Knights. They don't want to hang out with the transhumanists. They don't want to hang out with the flat earthers. They don't want to hang out with the kind of like biological supremacists.
Or the Sith, right?
The genetic royalty, I guess genetic royalty. I mean, that's something we all possess in terms of that potential within our DNA. But those that go down that kind of genetic modification path of like, trying to make conscious choices about which genes are the pure ones or the right ones and which are the wrong ones. I mean, that's not something that I think many of us attending that conference are into. So it's going to be a gathering of like-minded people, and at an energetic level, we all will boost ourselves by doing that, by coming together. It's almost like we are disparate parts of this kind of multifaceted jewel that comes together, and we kind of coalesce. Because if there is something to this whole idea of a Jedi Knights as an organization, it means that we start to organize. We start to come together. I mean, I know the Star Wars series, you had the Jedi Knights as a distinct organization, and you had the other things happening as well. The super soldiers, the clones and the genetic modification, all of those things happening at the same time. But the Jedi Knights were a particular order and were organized. And I think we need to start doing that. So I think this conference will be an opportunity to kind of start going down that path of developing those kinds of abilities and focusing on that.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. The other great thing about this is, you know, for many years, any of us that said, I saw a being, I couldn't quite understand what it was. Was it an angel? Was it Jesus? Was it a demonic? Was it an extraterrestrial? Because it all comes under the same kind of umbrella as we're breaking down the belief systems that were put into us, that we were brainwashed with, and now we're coming more into our own feeling and thinking. And it's such a beautiful time for people to really have a look at all of the belief systems that were passed on to them, where they ask themselves, what is me? Which is me? Is this my parents' belief system, my grandparents, the school system, the medical, the educational, the pharmaceutical? It is a time for real, as you said, Alex, internal, introspection, like really knowing that your journey, there's a great saying, the kingdom is within you. The kingdom is within us. This is the greatest treasure that we have, but every one of us at some point has been trained to go outside, for outside authority, for outside guidance, where now we're at a point where we're taking back our hearts, our souls, because these are only ours and nobody else's. Elena, may I come to you, please, for your thoughts?
Well, it's going to be my first conference in this field anyway, and it's going to be big, like nothing I've ever done before. And it's my first time in America also, so I am going to really meet all of you. But what I want to say is that physically, I will show you how you can be the bridge. Everyone is a bridge to these extraterrestrials, because most of us are from somewhere else. And at the moment we connect with who we truly are within, we connect with the whole cosmos, with where we come from, with our soul group. And this is an amazing adventure, an amazing discovery. And going within, we connect with everything. This is quite paradoxical. Going within is not isolating ourselves, it's opening the vortex and connecting with everything and interconnecting with each other. And that's the message that I really want to bring, is that we need to now focus seriously on what unites us. Stop listening to what potentially can divide us. That's not our games. That's the game of the baddies. They want to play that. We are better than this. We are way above this, because we have no boundaries, not even in our consciousness. And that's the message I want to bring. It's not about the humans of tomorrow, it's about the humans of today, of always, just becoming who they are and walking forward. So that's my message, and I really want to insist on that. We all are these bridges to everything.
That's so beautiful. I wanted to remind us of one of the other great speakers that will be there. There will be a vendor room, guys, for our speakers, and a couple of other people. We're not going to overwhelm you with 100 people selling their wares. And one of the people that will be there, he will be a speaker on stage. His name is Chris O'Connor. He has memories and proofs of his existence as a 2-year-old human child being progressed into an older body. His story is beyond fascinating. He ended up in a military off-program situation where he was actually making what is known as the Dean's device. This device works on the thousands of years old technology known as the Baghdad battery. It is a magnetized handheld device. You'll never plug it in. It has 13 magnets going around it. This one here is the 14th. And you can, like I have an obsidian here that I will take it away from my laptop, but have it, and it removes negative energy, interference. Chris O'Connor will be there in the vendor room in a tent. He will be taking photographs, for those of you that want it, of your auric field, known as Collier photography. Then he will be scanning gently, lovingly with this beautiful device, and then taking a picture after. So there's going to be a lot of really exciting revelations and ways for you to access information that we don't normally do. I feel for a moment, double check with everyone that we've mentioned Lowell, we've mentioned Sherry, we've mentioned Alex Collier, Elena Danaan, Brad Olson. Brad Olson is another great speaker with an incredible body of work. He is, I call him our intrepid explorer. He's a tall drink of water at 6'7", and he's a wonderful, entertaining individual. He has been to Antarctica. He has physically been there. His presentations on the history of our planet, his trilogy of books is called Beyond Esoteric. Brad Olson will also be standing on stage, giving you information. Chase, Chris, Jean-Charles, Tony Rodrigues, Sambo True Brother, Sherry Divband, Laura Eisenhower, Asher Dillman, and Chase Iron Eyes from the indigenous cultures. There are so many beautiful people that are coming that you've never heard of. Some of you know them. We encourage you. To me, this is like the three people in the screen, everybody watching out there. To me, this is like coming to the Beatles and the Elvis and the Rolling Stones concert, like all in one, all at once, you know. It is phenomenal. These speakers are flying across the world. They're traveling, they're flying, they're training, they're coming together to be with you. Now, this is a 3-day in-person event. It will not be live streamed. It will not be something you can just pop on Zoom and join. No, my darlings. There are many reasons for this, and we support you and love you. Those of you that can be there, wonderful. Those of you that cannot, there'll be other ways you can access information in a few months' time. Alex Collier, may I come to you, please, for more thoughts and anything else that you would like to say?
You know, clarification of the self. This whole period of what we're coming to, humanity as a whole, is really a clarification of self. And once you have a very clear picture of who you truly are, or we are individually, but who you are, it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. It will not matter. Because in that moment, you will totally understand all the decisions you made of why you're here now in the moment. And it is that clarity that will give you insight as to what it is that you need to do. You know, this moment's coming for everyone, everyone. Even those who choose not to wake up, they're going to have moments of clarity. They may move away from it because they're so disempowered or they're afraid of their own personal power, you know, but those will be decisions they make. But everyone's going to be brought to that table, to that moment. You know, Elena, you're not going to need any training wheels for this first rodeo of yours. You're just not. So we've got you covered. We've got your back, and you know, I'm just so thrilled for you. I am. I'm thrilled for you.
Thank you.
It's wonderful, and I'm really looking forward to it. Brad Olson's remarkable. Tony Rodriguez. I just watched an interview he did. I don't know who the interviewer was, but you know, he's just a remarkable guy. I can't say enough about Dr. Michael Salla. I have been defending him for years, and I will continue to do so. Danny, remarkable. You've really made your mark. You know, ladies and gentlemen, if you can be there, it would be extraordinary. And it's not so much just to see us, but to put yourself in the field of everyone else who's there for the same reason, to know. And you know, when you have this many people together sharing an energy field, we create a torsion field. And that torsion field will go with you, and it will change the environment of everywhere that you go. And it will for sure change Orlando, the DoubleTree Hilton Hotel.
Yes, for
You
sure.
know, yes, all the rats will go to the Hilton, to the Holiday Inn, you know. So, you know, and that's the beautiful part of it. And like Dr. Salla said, you know, doing the meet and greet with people, it is fun. It is wonderful. And you know, there's just no, you know, there's just no excuse not to come. There really isn't. You know, especially if you're on the East Coast already. You know, just figure it out. But I myself, I'm honored to have been invited, and I cannot think of a better place to end my public journey than at this particular conference. I did so already in Mount Shasta on the West Coast, and this is it on the East Coast. And it's an honor and a privilege for me to be there and to be in such great company. I'm honored. And, you know, I, like many other people that are going to be showing up, we're looking forward to hanging out with a French archaeologist. So, I mean, how often do we get to do that, right? Never. So, you know, I just shit, I don't know what else to say. Right.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And thank you for also mentioning the fact that Elena, in her past, was a French archaeologist working on the ground in Egypt. And I think it's a really beautiful thing to take time to have a look at the pedigree and the long-term background information that all of the speakers can stand strong and say, I didn't pop up 20 minutes ago, here is my body of work. And that is why they've been hand-selected and invited, and why we are so grateful that these beautiful people in particular honored us with their yes. This was planned a very long time ago, before most of us even came into this physical body at this moment. We were always going to find each other. We were always going to stand shoulder to shoulder, bowing to no one and bowing to no thing. And that for me is one of the greatest tells. We have respect, love, and adoration for each other in all the right ways, respect and love, and moving forward as we take hold of this beautiful fabric, this consciousness, this shift, this bump that is not coming as a violent solar flash. Maybe take a moment, please, to talk about that, because it makes me so sad for so many people who are so frightened of, oh my God, when's the solar flash coming? When's the flood coming? What do I do? Can we please tell our brothers and sisters the truth, the absolute truth of what is actually happening? Elena Danaan, may I come to you, please? Thoughts on the potential fabricated solar violent flash?
Well, you know, the stars have their life, and they have their breathing, and they also go through phases of shifting in density as well. Well, our star may as well do this, but this will not be a dramatic event. It will be something, if this occurs, it will be something extraordinary that will help Earth, you know, because I have to say, the whole star system has moved into a more higher density zone in space. So we are just in the process of adjusting to it at the moment. There, you know, all the fear mongering about this solar flash, whatever the sun does, it will do something great. But two things. There is this fear mongering program from, you know, by the dark ones, I'm going to say, who wants to turn everything that can happen into something dramatic and fear mongering, that people turn away from it and consider and refuse it You know, we have the power on the grid of reality. So, you know, that's what they want us to do, to refuse anything good that can come. It's like the fake alien invasion. Of course, there's going to be civilian contact. The process is going forward, but they want people to be totally scared of any galactic contact. That's the same thing for the solar flash. Two things. So that thing, they want us to be controlled by fear. So there's a lot of agendas and programs that say, oh, because the sun is going to like destroy Earth, you're going to be saved in some ships from the Ashtar or whatever. But only those who will have done their good homeworks will be able to go on the ships. So that's absolutely evil.
Evil. And
Evil.
their dogs aren't coming. Their pets are going to get left behind.
Oh, yes. I've heard some new age gurus say, oh, but you can't take your pets with you. F off, you know, that's it. Okay. You know, I just containing my French language.
Yes.
That's this. And then second, don't you think that if something like destructive solar flash was about to hit the Earth, or a terrible meteorite or a comet, don't you think that all the star nations in the star system would just watch? They've been here working and fighting and sacrificing a lot to help us make it through. They will, of course, shield the planet against anything bad. You know, that's not, you know, so we must stop with fear. So that's my what I have to say about the solar flash. If it ever happens, it will not be something destructive. That's my perspective.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, guys. I'm not sure if you're aware you're in. There is some internet interference here, but we say to the audience, just persevere and watch and just stay with us. Now I'm going to bring this to a close, you beautiful people. Unless there's anything else you feel that you want to add, I'm going to go round and for you just to say your Cheerios. See you in Orlando on the 21st of October, 2022. Elena Danaan, I will start with you, darling.
Well, I can't wait to meet in person everyone and share with you the connection I have with the star people. And I dearly hope that it will entice you to connect more, even yourself, with them. And in the meantime, I will ask you to just look at the beauty of the human heart and what interconnects us all. Just focus on that. That's the only way forward, to go together. So let us work on that. And I can't wait to meet you all. I mean, Dani, I'm going to meet you, Dr. Salla and Alex. Oh, that's going to be amazing. And everyone else. So meet you there.
Alex Collier, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're living a life of fear, then you are feeding the dark side. You're probably not aware of it, because at this point of the programming and conditioning, you truly believe being in fear is justified. It's truly not. If you're in fear, it's because you have not really decided what it is that you want. So if you can't make the conference, then I would just ask you to really start thinking about what it is that you truly want. And then ask yourself, why aren't you moving towards that? There aren't any excuses. If you want it bad enough, you can go for it. You can figure out a way to do it. But to remain in fear not only disempowers you, but you're also feeding the dark side. And that's why they have perpetuated the fear. The love that we withhold is the pain that we carry, lifetime after lifetime. If you're withholding love from yourself, then you're obviously withholding love from others. Why would you do that? Allow your heart to speak. Give it the room to speak. There is no reason to be afraid. 99% of all the shit we're afraid of never happens anyway. So there's no point. It's just a waste of your energy. And that same energy can be transformed into empowering yourself, empowering your children, empowering those around you, and creating the life you want. It's never too late. You just got to go for it.
So true.
That's it.
And beautifully said, from the heart of a true Andromedan. Thank you, Alex. Dr. Michael Salla, final words, my love.
Well, I would encourage people to come to this conference so that you can meet others that are part of your community. And that is, to me, really the most important thing that we need to do today. And it goes not just for this conference, but it goes for life. I mean, my wife and I moved from Hawaii to Tennessee because people in Hawaii suddenly began thinking in a way that was very different to us. And we realized we didn't want to be part of that community anymore because it had changed dramatically. And coming to Tennessee, we met people that are very different, but they think more in alignment with what we value, which is freedom, not any kind of interference by big government, and to kind of like hone in on the truth rather than to be swayed by the deception or the agenda of the deep state and of those that are in control of the major media and so forth, and the pharmaceuticals and all of that. So to me, this conference is a step or an opportunity for people to come and meet others in your community, because I do think we are, as a planet, dividing up in terms of who people that we align with, and if we align with those that kind of think like we do about spiritual empowerment, the value of being informed about the different ET races, that we want to go down this path of like being Jedi Knights, just develop our consciousness, connect with nature, connect with the soul and with the universal spirit. And the more we are meeting and just hanging out with people that think the same is going to be great. So that's what I'm looking forward to. And I hope those watching this, that you make that decision to come and join us in Orlando in October. And I look forward to meeting you there. And I look forward to seeing Alex again and meeting Elena for the first time in person, and Danny, of course, and many others at the conference that are presenting or just coming to be a part of that. I look forward to seeing you all there.
Beautiful, beautiful. We look forward to collectively to seeing the three of you and the other beautiful speakers that I've mentioned. And guys, to you out there, we've been shut down, locked down, put in boxes for over 2 years now. There are so many of you that never took a holiday, a vacation. You've just been shut down, shut in. This conference is 3 days. It is over a real fun holiday period. Why don't you plan to have a vacation around the conference too? Look forward to something, bring your family, bring yourselves, do something for yourself. There are a few ladies coming who are leaving their kids with their husbands. Well done, how fabulous, to give their own spiritual growth time to spiritually grow. So think about that when you're thinking about your plans in the next few weeks. The tickets actually go up in price on August the 15th, so you can still get your early bird ticket right now. When you go to the website, galacticspiritualinformers.com, that's the only place you need to go. When you get your ticket, you get a link to the hotel. There is a discount at the hotel. It is under the code SP5. If you call the Hilton Central Reservation, they're not going to help you. Go to the links we supply on the website, go straight to the hotel and book your rooms there too. It's going to be absolutely mind-blowing. And also the audience The audience is going to be astonishing. There are going to be so many star seeds, people who've never been able to tell their stories, people that don't feel safe in general life with other people. There's going to be people like Mark Atwood coming, the British Mark Atwood. A lot of you know him and his work on YouTube. Dr. Christiane Northrup, our global OBGYN, very well-known doctor, she's going to be coming to be part of the audience, guys. Janine Steffens from the YouTube channel Turn the Page that many of you know, she will also be in the audience. There will be military personnel who brought so much information to our planet to help the rise in humanity, the rise in consciousness. There'll be scientists, there'll be lovers of us. It's going to be so beautiful. And we cannot wait. Now, are we going to be seeing Merlin at the conference, darling?
Undecided.
Undecided. I'm sure he'll let you know nearer the time.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, my beautiful friends, Elena Danaan, Alex Collier, Dr. Michael Salla, I send you my love. I'm so grateful to know you and so happy that we could bring this roundtable to the beloveds to invite them to come and join with us. And thank you so much, guys. Hold on one moment, please. And to the audience out there, I am Dani Henderson, spiritual therapist. Cannot wait to see you all, invite you all, and embrace you all into this beautiful jump in disclosure happening on our planet. We'll see you soon, guys. Take care. God bless.